the other two
Very good afternoon and welcome once again to Tregorrick Park, where today the Saints welcome Bridgwater and Albion. Those are obviously some of their lads down in front of us getting warmed up. This is the 8th round of the league, it's called Tribute Southwest 2 League now. And at the moment St Austell are lying in second place and Bridgwater are currently the basement side, but that of course may change after today. What I'm going to do in a few moments time is show you some of the highlights from the last game played between these two teams back in April, where Bridgwater won 30 points to 28, and a bit later on we'll look at the teams for today, a little bit about recent form, and then the league positions leading up to kick-off at 3 o'clock. So without further ado, let's show you the highlights from St Austell's last game at Bridgwater in April. Well, apart from the first kick, St Austell haven't touched it yet. Well, to Andy Inch is the one who thought he'd scored. And he's close again. There's Dan Job. Is he going to get there? Once again, he's rolled over. And this time, referee says, yes, that's a try. The ball's found its hands into the hands of Connery Woodsy. And he'll take some catching. Jay Owens there just didn't have enough to catch Connor. Once he's away, give us a sec, I'll have a look. Taylor Buller, and I think that might be his brother at the back with the ball there. And there he goes. Taking candy from the baby. It's also looked to go wide. Chris Ashwin's got men outside him, including Matt Shepherd, who goes through the middle, and he's caught. Lovely tackle in the end there. But they retain the ball, and it looks to me like Dan Job has taken route one and scored his second try of the game. Much longer they can sustain the pressure, and it looks as though it's a difficult one because Oscar White was through, and it may have been a high tackle by Ben Plummer. Yes, it is. Yellow card, and I think the referee is indicating a penalty try. He certainly is. Oh, that's a lovely move. And it looks like he's in. He certainly is. That could win the game. Will Monroe scores for Bridgwater. Well, if you were watching from Bridgwater, I'm sure you enjoyed that. Final score of this last season in April was 30-28 to Bridgwater. Bit of a shock, I think. I think St Austell gone there riding high in the league, and Bridgwater were 5 positions behind them, but the best team won on the day without any doubt at all. I think what I'll do now is have a quick look at the teams for today, starting with the St Austell side. Usual place up front: Dan Job, Miles Davey as hooker, and Charlie Nicholson, the same front row that started last week against Weybridge. In the second row, skipper Mark Vine wears 4, and lovely to see a return for Anthony Knight. He's been doing the business, scoring tries for the second team recently, but he's recalled today, I think for his first full game this season. In the back row, Joe Maunder, who played second row last week and of course had just returned from playing against the Navy for the Cornwall under-20s, will play blind side. Hector Bright, who's playing off the bench I think in every game this season, makes a start at the open side. Great to watch him. And of course the player coach Carl Marriott brings up the rear of the scrum at number 8. In the back, CJ Boyce continues at 9. Chris Ashwin at fly half. Of course, Chris playing today against his old club when he was stationed in Bridgwater a while ago. That's who he played for 2 seasons, and he knows many of the players to this day. In the centres, Ben Plummer and Sam Parsons continue their successful partnership, with wingers both changing today. Max Bullen comes in on the left wing, having scored 4 tries for the Sinners last week, and Conroy Woodsey also scored, I think, 2 last week, makes a return on the right wing, with Matt Shepherd bringing up the rear at fullback. On the bench today for the front row cover, Matt Boothby, Rob Jeffs at 17, of course he started last week, and Dan Tyrrell on the bench, and I'm sure, no doubt at all that we'll be seeing a lot of those guys early on in the game. For Bridgwater, front row is Michael Saunders, Ollie Phillips and Graham Slorence. Graham, of course, was captain last year, but not this year. That goes to George Sluman, who's played at 7. In the second row, James and Hopkins, Tom Hopkins. The back row, Jack Perry, George Sluman and Taylor Buller. Taylor Buller had a fine game. I remember I was watching him last season up at Bridgwater. Big, rough number 8 who loves to run with the ball. In the 9, Roger Drabble. At 10, Tom Steer. In the centres, Jay Owens and Chris Tong, with Lang on the left wing and Danny Mahoney on the right wing, with Will Kerry bringing up the rear at fullback. On the bench today for Bridgwater, Harry Hodge, T West and D Page. Let's have a quick look at recent form. As you can see, last week, St Austell played Wadebridge away, dire conditions, but came away with a bonus point win, 7 points to 28. Good local derby there, a cracking one. In fact, the week before was another fantastic local derby where St Austell played Truro at home, and I think the score actually was 54-3, not 64. That's my mistake there. So St Austell come into this game having won 2 local derbies, and they'll be full of confidence. Week before that, of course, they lost 24-18 away at Sidmouth. 1 or 2 changes to the side, didn't make any difference really. Sidmouth played a fine game and deserved to win that. And the week before that, big win for St Austell against a weakened Wellington team by 80 points to 0. Bridgwater won 1 of the last 3. They lost last week to Teignmouth by 21 points to 55. Week before that, they beat Sherborne, who are 1 place above them in the league, 20-0. And before that, they lost to their arch local rivals, North Petherton, by 18 points to 40. And before that, lost away to Newton Abbott, 39-13.
This one there, isn't it? You know you got paid. It's like saying the other day, you know you got paid. Everyone knows. So I don't understand it. You just take it out.
Which means, sorry, my mistake. Right, the time is just coming up to 20-2, and I'll leave you with a few pictures of the lads warming up. I'll come back and go through the teams again in a few minutes' time. Right, welcome back. As you can see, both the teams are gone into the changing rooms, due to kick off in about 6, maybe 7 minutes time. And although it looks cloudy and dull up there, the forecast is for no rain, despite the fact that when I got here it was pouring down. And that's the reason I'm over here and not over there in the usual Royal box. So I'll do my best, but it does mean that some parts of the pitch, particularly to my right as you're looking, I can't really get a very good view of it. Doing the best, honestly. So let's go through the teams once again. From the top, Dan Joe plays loose head for St Austell. Miles Davey continues at hooker. Charles Nicholson continues fine form playing loose head, tight head. And in the second row, Mark Vine, skipper today, skipper for the season obviously, and a return for the 38-year-old, I'm told, Anthony Knight. Lovely to see him back, scoring tries for the twos recently, that man. In the back row, Joe Maunder moves from playing second row last week and also playing for Cornwall under-20s into the blindside flanker position, where Hector Bright, who was on the bench last week, comes in at open side, and Cal Marriott brings up the rear of the scrum at number 8. In the backs, CJ Boyce is playing at 9. Chris Ashwin, who used to be a Bridgwater and Albion player himself, of course, continues at 10. Ben Plummer and Sam Parsons continue in the centre, with new wingers this week. No, not new wingers, just given a chance to have a run out. Max Bullen and Connery Woodsy, both try scorers last week, come in a changed lineup, slightly changed from last week, and Matt Shepherd continues at fullback. On the bench, Matt Boothby, Rob Jeffs and Dan Tyrrell, all of whom we'll see today. As you can see, Bridgwater and Albion coming onto the pitch. They are led by number 7, George Sluman, but from the front, Michael Saunders, Ollie Phillips and Graham Slorence make up the front row. I'll get a bit closer so you can see what they look like. There they go. Second row of Rob James and Tom Hopkins, with Jack Perry, George Sluman and Taylor Buller bringing up the rear at number 8. In the backs, Roger Drabble is at scrum half. Tom Steer plays first 5/8 in New Zealand parlance, which is fly half as far as we're concerned. In the centres, Jay Owens and Chris Tong, with Lang on one wing, don't know his first name I'm afraid, and Danny Mahoney on the right wing, with Will Kerry bringing up the rear at fullback. On the bench, Harry Hodge, T West and D Page. Referee today is Rob Lowe from the Cornwall Society. Just to remind you, when these two teams played last year in the league, St Austell won comfortably here by 62 points to 8. But when they went away to Bridgwater later in the season, in April, Bridgwater won that game 30 points to 28. And I did show you the tries from that earlier on. So with I make it about 3 minutes to kick off. As you can see, Bridgwater on the field, St Austell still to arrive. And I think, like everyone else, we're looking forward to another cracker. Been some super games here at St Austell this season. A couple of big wins by Saints against Teignmouth and also against Wellington. And 2 local derby wins last week against Weybridge, winning 7-28 away. And before that, big win against local rivals Truro. Very entertaining game. There they are, Saints led by the Goran Lighthouse, and you can see there he is, Mark Vine, very popular young man. I think he's probably about 6'5", and right beside him there, wearing 6, is Joe Maunder, youngster. I think Joe's about 19 now. I'm not really certain. Love to see him playing. Starting, Cal Marriott, the last to arrive. And as you can see, St Austell will be playing up the slope, probably against the slight breeze in the first half. And Chris Ashwin, ex-Bridgwater player of course, due to kick off. So stick with us. St Austell against Bridgwater and Albion. Now Chris Ashman sort of scuffed it, and it goes straight there to Graham Slorence. And Bridgwater do the sensible thing and run it straight away, but both Miles Davey and Hector Bright give them a big St Austell welcome. That's Roger Drabble. kicks long, goes as far as Connery Woods, who will do what he always does, which is run with the ball. There's Carl Marriott, of course, player coach. So also move it to the blind side. Ben Plummer's caught. That's Joe Maughan with first chance ever to run with his hands on the ball. Going wide again. Shep puts it wide, straight to a charging Max Bullen, but I think he might have had his foot in touch just before he lost it back inside. And so it'll be the first line out of the game, just outside the 22. Now, in fact, before that, there was a forward pass, says the referee. There he is, referee Rob Lowe. Front rows of Dan Jobe, Miles Davey and Charlie Nicholson for St Austell, up against Michael Saunders, Ollie Phillips and Graham Lawrence for Bridgwater. Key part of the game this, any club, you have to win your own ball. It's one of the areas where St Austell, I think it's fair to say, improved from the early games of the season, where they had not been performing at the level they wanted to. That man there, of course, key player, loose head Dan Jobe. There's Graham Lawrence, who was Bridgwater skipper last year. A fine game when St Austell went up there. One of their outstanding players. And St Austell get a move on, and referee doesn't hesitate to say that collapsed. There you can hear it. That was against Michael Saunders for boring in, not allowing the scrummage to go forward. So Shep will probably kick for the corner for first line out of the game. I think it's fair to say, even from here, that St Austell had a considerable height advantage in Joe Maunder and Mark Vian. And the go-to man's usually Mark Vian up the front there, skipper. And if I had a mortgage, I'd be betting it on that. I was wrong. No, missed completely. And Bridgwater take advantage. Graham Lawrence looks for the safety of Tom Steer, his fly half. And you can see Ben Plummer's just waiting for the ball to travel. Chips ahead. Does well. There's Ollie Phillips, first chance to throw in, and he goes to skipper George Sluman in the centre of the line, and Bridgwater get an early push on. Tom Steer caught by his opposite number, Chris Ashwin there. Looks like the ball shot out. The referee's saying illegally, looks like hands on the ground. So Tom Steer likely, I think, to put the ball in the corner. There's Ollie Phillips again, and it looks like he might know. He's gone this time to Jack Perry. He takes it cleanly without jumping. Tom Steer dummies engaged himself, but he's caught eventually. There's Graham Lawrence, big prop. Lovely tackle by Ben Plummer, I think it was there. Ball went forward in it. You can see disappointment on the face. I think that's Jay Owens walking towards us. No, it's Chris Tong, I beg your pardon. Do apologise if I get one or two of the names wrong. It's I don't know the Bridgwater players, of course. So if I get them wrong, stick with me, I'll do my best again. So, scrummage, about on St Austell's 22 for a knock-on. CJ Boyce put in, maybe hoping for a bit of stability. Certainly has. In fact, I think he's leaving it to Carl Marriott. And then CJ clears, and as you can see, Connery Woods is chasing. I'll see him back. Big favourite with Tregorrick Cloud, of course. It's a St Austell line out, at least Miles Davey looks like he's going to be. So it is a St Austell line out. Maybe it was touched before it went in. No score. Taken very cleanly by Joe Morner off the top.
Go on. Go on, Connor.
Connor chases, but it's taken second attempt, I think, by Will Carey there. He does well to hold on. But stolen by and Big Dan Joe gets there, but the ball went forward just over the line. He'll be disappointed with that. Well done. Scored a lovely try last season against Bridgwater away. First of the game, in fact. So referee brings him back for a knock-on. You see there's Dan Jobe playing loose here up against Graham Lawrence. Two experienced old heads there. That's a good drive from St Austell, very good drive. Carl Marriott picks up and lets Chris Ashwin have a little wander in. For the first goal of the game. Matt Shepherd has the extra two to take the score to St Austell 7, Bridgwater and Albion 0 after 7 minutes played.
Cheers, mate.
That, of course, came while Chris Ashwin had a lovely little gentle run in, and In fact, Carl Marriott had a pick up with almost no opposition. That's because the scrum was going backward at a rate of knots, and it's very difficult to defend when you're going backwards, backs or forwards. So big plus there. Big thanks to Saints front row. Here's Hector Bright. We know what he's going to do. Mark Vine had a really fine game last week. Crowned it with a try against Weybridge. He says it was from 40 metres. It was more like 4. Will Kerry hits over the top, only goes as far as Shep, who you know he's going to do. Takes them on, keeps the ball alive. There's Hector Bright again. I think we can see a lot of him this afternoon. Ashwin goes wide. Ball went to Marriott, but he got man and ball, I think, and knocked it on. No, sorry, it's Miles. You can see from... No, it is Kyle. He looking very annoyed that he knocked on, because he never knocks on. Even at this stage of the game, it's good to see from a St Austell perspective that the scrum looking very solid indeed. Second row partnership with Mark Vine and Anthony Knight. Youngster and the not so youngster. This time it collapses. Referee's always going to blow up for that because it can be dangerous. As we speak, hard to see from here, but as we speak, the clouds are gathering. Looks like we may have a shower later on. There's CJ Boyce staying beside Roger Drabble. And once again, St Austell get the nudge on in the scrum. Gives them a bit of space. Allows Shep to go wide to Max Bullen, who has a clear run into the line, and he's not going to miss from there. So on 11 minutes, St Austell take a 12-point lead. With Matt Shepherd, the opportunity for a touchline conversion. It's going to be a difficult kick, that, but has Matt got his kicking boots or his dancing boots?
No running support players do it, but you can't stop a bloke. If they do, there's always somebody else.
He's hit it, but as you can see, he just faded to the right. So the score remains St Austell 12, Bridgwater and Albion 0, with 12 minutes played. Kind of feigns to kick, but you know he's not going to. As you've watched him play before, you know he's not going to. There's Ollie Phillips again. And I think once again he goes to the reliable hands of George Sluman in the centre there, skipper. Well taken, despite the efforts of Mark Vine. Double feeds Kerry. The ball went forward in the tackle there, and even Hector Bright was unable to hold on. 2 knock-ons, so the referee bring him back for the first. That means it'll be a scrum to St Austell. There's Jay Owens wearing 12. Playing up against Ben Plummer and Sam Parsons in the centre for St Austell. Bit of a tricky move there. Shep gets the ball with a man, in fact. But they keep the ball alive. And there's Ben Plummer making the hard yards. There's Big Dan Joe. Unlucky. Hit the ground hard, couldn't hold the ball. But the referee's going to bring them back for an offside decision. Yeah, you can see he's pointing at number 8. No arms tackle. That's Taylor Buller, whose brother also played in the game last season, but he's not here today. That ball doesn't make touch, and George Sluman just jinks past Max Bullen. That's a lovely kick there. Tom Steer beautifully there. Just put it over Connor Woods' head, rolled it into touch.
It's a horrible feel. I don't know why I don't want it. Difficult when you've got big score. It's not a big score. You're trying to do anything you can. You've got to play. I know. That's horrible.
Referee's having a quick word with CJ Boyce, gives a chance some of the lads to take on some water. And you can probably just about make out the trees at the far side blowing from left to right as we look, but oddly they're in the other way on this side of the field. It's swirling around, mostly a southerly southwesterly, which favours Bridgwater I think a little bit in the first half. Nice to see someone in St Austell's got the scoreboard working now. "17 minutes played, score is St Austell 12, Bridgwater and Albion 0. Try after 7 minutes to Chris Ashwin, and a second about 4 minutes later to Max Bullen after a lovely run down the wing. And as we speak, one of the Bridgwater and Albion players has been helped off the field. Hard to say who it is from here. We'll check again in a minute. Been replaced by D. Page wearing 18, so I think that must be the right winger, Danny Mahoney. Yep. Just outside St Austell 22, CJ Boyce put in. And from here you just fancy possibly he'll let Connery Woodsy have a bit of a run. Yeah, sure enough. That's the plan. But unfortunately, a forward pass there from CJ Boyce through the back of the hand. Connery disappointed at that because he was away. Lots of scrummages so far in this game, only 20 minutes played. A couple of knock-ons, some forward passes. Conditions aren't fantastic. It's rained a lot before the game and it's very windy. Roger Drabble to put in. We'll have to wait for a reset. There's Chris Tong with his teammate Jay Owens inside him. There are St Austell. Okay, Miles Davey, skipper for many years, of course, and he's relinquished it this season to Mark Vian, who's doing a fine job. But he did have some very big boots to fill. Mind you, he's got some very big boots himself. That's another lovely scrummage by St Austell. They really dominated that part of the game, and all day you're going to get a penalty from the referee. You can see he's indicating that the loose head prop there, boring in or moving him, stop the push. Very difficult to defend. Miles Davey to throw. Will he go to Vian? No. Taken by Carl Marriott in the centre. Gives the backs a chance to run. Chris Ashford takes it from behind him. Crosses a big pass out to Max Bullen. He's definitely got his dancing shoes on. There's Sam Parsons' first chance to show his pace. Shepherd well tackled there by Roger Drabble. Some very good first up defence from Bridgwater, stopping Tony Knight there, trying to get the ball backwards. Matt Shepherd's guaranteed to find a gap or two in every game. Connery Woodsy's got the ball, but he's also got three men with him. Turnover there from some excellent defence work by Bridgwater. But then they knocked on. So as you can see from the referee, knock on from Bridgwater. That means St Austell will have a scrummage just outside Bridgwater's 22. Marriott looks up to the blind side, Finds CJ Boyce is looking for support. They continue to go blind. There's Anthony Knight again.
Wind them all, man.
He's been prominent in the loose, says Anthony.
What's your leg, alright? Yo. 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 Oh, the quiet ones here now. Yeah.
I suppose this plaque will get on this bench soon, I suppose, won't it?
Andy was here.
I say, Mandy, I expect this plaque will get on this bench soon, won't it?
Looks
Plaque will
like
get on this bench soon, I suppose.
Chris Ashwin's going off. And Matt Shepherd has moved into play fly half. Can't see what was wrong with Chris, he ran off okay. And Danny Tyrrell comes up on the wing. He had stitches in his forehead last week. That won't affect Danny. Which means Max Bullen's dropped to fullback.
Well, tell it, bring it on next time, we'll all do it. Oh, there's a pocket there, is it?
Roger Treble puts in, and Saints get the scrum really motoring backwards. Well rescued there by George Sluman, but the referee already gave a penalty. Bit unlucky, I think he picked up just as the referee blew the whistle. So 25 minutes played. Score is 12-0 to St Austell. And a really good attacking opportunity. 10 metres out. Taken cleanly by Vine. And for the first time in the game, St Austell get their rolling maul moving. Very difficult to defend against. Very hard. Over the line, over the line, over the line. And as you can see, the referee says, hey, try. Who gets up with it? It looks like Joe Maunder. That might be his first try for the first team, I think. I played that young man. Selected for Cornwall under-20s last week, of course.
Took his hat off.
Yeah, I was going to say it's time. Is it?
Yeah, in the middle.
There we go.
What's that bloody fox do?
They're the bushy-tailed bastards, girls.
So with the score at 17-0, Matt Shepherd has the chance to add 2. God, it's quiet here, even with Andy Stevens around, it's still quiet. And Shep adds the 2. So with the score at 19-0, Tom Steer to restart for Bridgwater and Albion. Early try by Chris Ashwin, shortly followed by one from Max Bullen, and then a few moments ago, Joe Maunder from some excellent work in the driving maul. Shep's away. They find Sam Parsons inside. He's got support left and right. Goes himself. Ball's recycled right. There's Connery Woods, the last one out. He's not going to miss from there, is young Connor.
Triple tugging, girl. Triple tugging. One more order you can.
Not her.
So that's the bonus point in the bag for St Austell, as Matt Shepherd attempts to meet the score up to 26. Kicked from here only 3 minutes ago, so we'll see.
No blackcurrant down here, unfortunately.
That'd be £4, please. Yeah. That'd be £5.
No, he's missed that one. Tom Steer restarts, taken cleanly by Carl Marriott. As Mark Vine stopped firmly by Graham Lawrence. Oh, that went forward. You can see whether he's playing advantage, but I think he's saying no, not releasing. Yeah, quite clearly. Referee just called a halt for a moment. I think he's going to have a chat with injured player, with the skipper, to see who that is from here. Could be Ollie Phillips, actually. The Bridgwater hooker. Yep. Pleased to see Ollie's back on his feet. Limping slightly. No, it isn't Ollie actually, it's Graham Lawrence. You can hear from here Taylor Buller exhorting his troops to get in here. Due to be taken there off the top by Joe Maunder. Shep moves it to Sam Parsons. It gives Danny Tyrrell a chance first up. Beats the first man. There's Hector Bright. Shep puts it in behind. Who's going to be there first? It looks to me like it was Tom Steer got there, knocked the ball into touch, so it should be a drop out from the goal line. Matt Shepherd's starting to go open. He finds Max Bullen's got support inside and out. Attempts to beat the first man, doesn't quite make it, but Hector Bright's on his shoulder, wherever he's been all day. That's Ben Plummer's broken the line. He's looking for support. Connery Woods is screaming for it. Mark Vine found himself on the wing, but knocked into touch there by Roger Drabble for a Bridgwater line out. That's George Sluman again. Who's the key Bridgwater line-out presence in the game so far. You can hear from the spectators there, Connor unable to take it cleanly. In fact, he touched it before it went into touch. So it'll be a Bridgwater line-out. As we approach half-time, 35 minutes played. Score is, as you can see, St Austell 24, Bridgwater and Albion 0. That is a bonus point so far. Not the best throw, I think it's fair to say, by Ollie Phillips. It was cleaned up by Joe Maunder. Matt Shepherd finds Sam Parsons. And referee Rob Lowe says, and he's right there, he said no, just forward. So there they are, the big boys. St Austell, Dan J, Miles Davey and Charlie Nick against Michael Saunders, Ollie Phillips and Graham Lawrence. And so far I think it's safe that St Austell have had the edge in the scrummage. I think particularly on Charlie Nicholson's side, where the scrum has collapsed 3 times. Taylor Buller picks up. Apologies for that, because I can't see around the corner, so I've got to lean over so we have a proper look. But you can see what happened there. Line out taken cleanly by Mark Vine, and so also looking to run. Shep puts Ben Plummer in space, who then eventually finds Connery Woods, who steps 2 and looks to put his foot on the gas. He's got Hector Bright inside him, and you're going to have to motor to catch that, boy. And Bridgwater weren't able to. What a lovely try. So try by Hector Bright, converted by Matt Shepherd, moves the score on to St Austell 31, Bridgwater and Albion 0. That's 5 tries. A lovely run by young Hector. Shows he's got serious pace, which he obviously got from his mother. His dad, of course, long-time player here at St Austell. Ball was thrown low, and Sluman went high for it, George Sluman, but Bridgwater held on. And as you can see, Jay Owens was tackled in the centre, but I think there was a forward pass in there. No, it was a knock on, so he's bringing him back, no advantage coming. Be a scrum to Bridgwater with about 2 minutes or so coming towards half time.
That makes sense. Yeah, makes sense.
It's a better scrum. Oh no, now it goes backwards. So CJ Bush steals it. Ben Plummer gives it to Shep, who gets man and ball. That's good defence. And Jay Owens has a chance to run away with it. Looks like Matt Shepherd recovered. There's Hector Bright. Just scored a try a few minutes ago. There's Max pulling away. He's got support left and right. He doesn't need it just yet. And he looks inside to Ben Plummer. He finds Matt Shepherd, who is not going to get caught from that far out. That was either Matt Shepherd or Chris Ashton, one of the two. Lovely try. If you're wondering, that's Andy with his bugle. Just coming out of half time, scores 36-0 with Matt Shepherd attempting to add 2 conversion from his own try. Matt, of course, is the St Austell leading try scorer this season, closely followed by Danny Tyrrell, who, although he hasn't scored yet, you can put money on him scoring sometime today. Sure enough, step out the 2. And referee Rob Lowe blows for half time. With a score at half time, St Austell 38, Bridgwater and Albion 0. We'll join you shortly after the break.
breather.
Welcome back to the second half. Score at half time is 38-0 to St Austell. 6 tries. Bonus point already in the bag. And one change at half time is that St Austell's keeper Mark Vine has taken his leave and he's been replaced by Rob Jeffs. I think that means that Joe Maunder will probably step up into the second row where Rob Jeffs playing in the back row. There's Rob, first to the ruck, of course. Bridgwater probably, well, certainly be looking for a bit more in terms of territory and possession this half. Find it very hard to break St Austell's line. In fact, looks like there's a knock on. First knock on was by Bridgwater, so there'll be a St Austell scrummage, and it's an area where they've definitely had the edge in the first half. There's veteran Rob Jeffs just gently caressing Dan Job's backside. That came out all wrong, we know what you mean. Probably the most senior player on the field at the moment, Rob. Must have been playing 12, 13 years ago. Still demands a place in the first team. CJ boys. Max looks, CJ has a run, but he's stopped. I hope they go open because I can't see the blind corner. Yeah. Short pass of Matt Shepherd to Max Bullen, puts Max in for his second try. Matt Shepherd wide on the left with the opportunity to add the extra 2 to his 4 conversions and try already, and he's missed that one. Tom Sear kicks off and Matt Shepherd looks to answer with interest. Big boot right down in the far corner. Makes a good 50 metres with that kick. What a lovely kick that was. Matt's moved up to play fly half in the absence of Chris Ashwin, who looks like he may have hurt his knee. Let's hope that's just precautionary. Which gives St Austell a line out just inside, I think, Bridgwater's 22. Miles Davey to throw. He won't have Vine as an option, but he does find Joe Maunder. CJ Boyce looks himself, pops the ball back inside for Hector Bright to score his second try. That brings up 48 for St Austell. With probably an easy conversion for Matt Shepherd. You'd imagine Matthew will kick that one, which surely does. That's now 9 tries and 50 points to St Austell, with both Hector Bright and Max Bullen having 2 apiece after an early try by Joe Maunder and Chris Ashwin.
Come on. Nobody shouted then.
I think there was a cross wire there somewhere, nobody caught for the ball, which means St Austell have a line out on their 22. Aim for Maunder, but it was just a bit too high, and the ball, what you can see, came forward off the hand of Rob Jeffs there. Was it Matt Boothby? I was unlucky. Graham Lawrence unable to hold of the ball. You can see his disappointment written all over his face. It's making this has shades of last season's game between these two at Tregorrick Park. St Austell run out 62 points to 10 winners. And there's Danny Tyrrell, and you know what he's going to do. So difficult to stop. And CJ Boyce finds. And you can see St Austell have 3 men outside. And Joe Maunder has a look himself, but he's caught. So that's a recycle to the same direction, and I can't see that corner, but the ball went forward. Apologies for this, I won't lean over to see it. Better to see it at an angle or not at all. Knock on by St Austell, it will be a Bridgwater and Albion scrummage. You can see there in the foreground is one of the coaches for Bridgwater, Carl Rimmer, used to play for Exeter Chiefs and of course Cornish Pirates. Had to retire through ill health. Very, very fine player. Hard to see who that is who's injured. I think it could be Roger Drabble having treatment from the physio, or is it Graham Lawrence who was hurt earlier on? They will not want to do, no, it is Roger Drabble. Yeah, he's hurt his hand, but he looks to be okay. Right, once again, apologies. I'm going to have to lean over to see this. And it is a Bridgwater scrummage. about 7-8 metres out. So Roger Travel to put in. He'll be looking for a quick ball, but Austell get a nudge on, and the ball comes back to CJ Boyce, who goes on his own, doesn't quite get there, but he's got support. I think he might have knocked it on actually. Yeah. 2 knock-ons, I think. Second one by CJ. You can see there's also club chairman there, Paul Hayes at the foreground, having a chat with Rob Daniel and Steve Murley. Got to be pleased with the performance today. Really dominated in all areas of the game. And I think it's particularly true of the backs when they've had clean ball. They've looked very, very sharp indeed. CJ Boyce goes open. Matt Shepherd feeds Conrad Woodsey, who running backwards, turns around and goes in to score his second try of the day. All too easy. The corner. There he is. So Matt Shepherd adds the 2 to move the score on to Austell 57. Bridgwater and Albion 0. A brace apiece to Connery Woodsey, Hector Bright and Max Bullen. As Carl Marriott show he can kick as well as run. Lovely little play. He goes Hector, but he drops the ball. The referee's going to bring them back for, I think it was high tackle. Chris Ashwin has rejoined. Trying to work out who's gone off. Yeah, Matt Shepherd's gone back to fullback. Looks like Connery Woodsey has left the field, and Max Bullen's moved over to the left wing. Taken by Rob Jepps at the back. There's Ashwin, the missed pass to Glenn Plummer, but he's met in the centre. Matt Shepherd looking for support. Doesn't need it. As you can see, he's indicating holding on by St Austell. There might have been Danny Tyrrell there in the tackle, so Bridgwater had the chance to clear their lines. Tom Steer woofs it down the field, only as far as Matt Shepherd, who looks for Danny Tyrrell. Charlie Nicholson, who does not do a sidestep. If he does, it's the Maori variety, but unlucky there. The ball went forward before Joe Mordu could get his hands on it. Latest score for the Sinners away at Liscardloo is Liscardloo 0, St Austell Sinners 28. 28-0 away at Liscard, which I think might see the Sinners move up into 4th place in that league. They've had some fine form recently. Knock on, gives a chance for Roger Treble to put in, and he will be once again hoping for quick ball, because St Austell have been very effective at pushing in the scrummage, although they've held that one well, very well indeed actually. It's one of the few where they've actually got the ball going forward. In fact, if anything, they might even get a penalty. There's Hector Bright putting pressure. Well, Jeff shows he can do dummies as well. Shep steps off his left. Does he need help? He probably does. He finds Sam Parsons, who run in for the 10th try of the game. St Austell boy, Sam of course, played for Red Ruth for many years before coming back. And Matt Shepherd did as well. Of course, currently sitting at St Austell 62, Bridgwater and Albion 0, which is the same score for St Austell as they scored last year in this corresponding fixture. But when they went away, they lost 30 points to 28. And a much, much improved Bridgwater side who deserved to win on that day. So Matt Shepherd attempts to add the 2. Which he does.
Remember Matt's got with Matt, when the counter cut finals like that,
Yeah, Matt Boothby run there, but hands on the ground, says the referee. So lots have stuck to their patterns. They play the same game as they have in the last few games, actually, where they will kick the touch, play in the right areas of the field, and run when they can. And even from there, with a margin of 64 points, Matt Shepherd's going to kick down the line and play down the other end. There's Danny Tyrrell wearing a headband because he got stitches last week after banging his head at Weybridge. Being in red hot form this season as young Danny. St Austell's biggest victory this season was 80 points to 0 against Wellington. That may be in reach today, but we shall see. Bridgwater's certainly not given up. That's quick hands. Sam Parsons dummies, goes inside. And Matt Shepherd. Forward pass, the referee brings them back, I think, for an offside offence. No, high tackle, not offside. So what we do from there? My guess is that Matt or Chris will kick for the corner. Or tap and go. He doesn't kick over there because I can't see that corner. Oh, Matt. Just been told that Sinners' score has now moved on to Liskeard Lou 0, St Austell Sinners 35. There's Dave Phillips in the background. Do check out the Rugby Club Facebook group, St Austell Rugby Club News and Events, and check out Dave's pictures. He's one talented young man. So Saints have them all going forward. It's not something they've used much today, apart from perhaps a couple of occasions. It's one of their biggest weapons, but the ball comes out in the shape of Miles Davey. And Danny Tyrrell has a quick look. Chris Ashman unfortunately can't hold it, but the defence was offside right over there. And you would imagine that Saints will kick to the corner once again. You can see referee pulling down, he's saying. So yeah, Matt Shepherd kicks the touch. There'll be a line out just there. Taken cleanly by Joe Maunder, pops it back inside, and it looks very much as if somebody has scored. I think actually it's Miles Davey. Certainly comes up with the ball, yep. Pass back to Miles from the throwing the line out. Scores in the corner. So I missed that one. You'll not forgive me for that. I'm not going to show you Matt because I can't see him, but take my word for it, he's just there behind that post, and you'll see the ball as he kicks it. Matt steps up. Here he goes. Watch the posts. And he's missed that one. Just short. Apologies for that. My apologies. Lost the camera. Score is St Austell 69, Bridgwater and Albion 0. And Tom Steer to kick off. And if the clock on the scoreboard is right, there are 15 minutes left to go. And once again, Matt Shepherd decides we'll play it down there. That lovely kick just goes past Will Kerry, could do nothing about it. There's the try scorer, Miles Davey. Goes to Joe Warner, but unable to hold on. The ball went backwards, says the ref, so CJ Boyce looks for the protection of his forwards. And there's Charlie Nicholson, who's in a fine game in the front row. There's Hector Bright, wants to get in for a third. Goes through about 5 players and does so. He's not very happy, is he? There he is, hat-trick Hector.
Little bit of lubrication.
Too much lubrication.
You're done. Then you got
Shepherd kicks that one to move the score on to St Austell 76. Bridgwater and Albion 0. At this rate, they might be exceeding, if one more score would exceed the highest score of the season. And you can see Carl Rimmers coming on to have a quick word with the referee. Oh, no, he's not. He's having a quick word with the prop. That's the coach talking to their skipper about something. I think it might be an injury to Ollie Phillips. He's going to reorganise the front row. And without recognised front row play, they might have to go unopposed. Because Ollie Phillips has been struggling for a while. You can see him in the far distance there. Off he goes. As Bridgwater get the game underway again. That's Rob Jeffs. Gibbs takes and goes for the return pass. Lametta Parsons with a forward pass. Ah. How many times have they done that today? Good defence there by Jay Owens in the centre. Didn't give Ben any room at all. Took him low. Man and ball. So Austell, of course, had 3 sides out today. The third team played earlier on. I believe they won. Didn't have the score. The Sinners are currently 35-0 up away at Liscard, and the Saints here are leading Bridgwater 76-0. Carl Marriott's a choosy man. And Chris Ashwin says, oh, put it down there. But Chris hits it too far. That's because he kicked it with the wrong foot. Well, if that's right, there are still 10 minutes to go. And I make it, St Austell have scored 13 tries today. No, 11, I beg your pardon, can't count. Rob Jeff's annoyed you couldn't pick that up. Well, it's Matt Boothby, not Rob Jeffs. 2 knock-ons. That's another fine scrummage. Gives Marriott the chance to pick up and look. Chris Ashwin fumbles but keeps the ball. And you can see Max Bullen well tackled in the end. But he keeps the ball alive. There's Rob Jeffs again. Puts the ball back to the right. Max Bullen looking for Danny Tyrrell, but he can't hold on. That's referee Rob Lowe coming across to have a word with centre Jay Owens, who's already wearing strapping on his ankle, but I suspect he's going to play on. No, looks like he might. I think his game might be over. Yeah, he's coming off. Number 17 is West, not sure his Christian name. Oh, there he is on the touchline. Jay Owens defended very well today. Another big scrum from St Austell. Looks like they might have turned over. Gives CJ Boyce the chance to move the ball wide. Simple pass. Chris Ashwin to Matt Shepherd. Shep runs in for his second try, which I make try number 12. Shepherd adds a conversion of his own try to move the score on to St Austell 83, Bridgwater and Albion 0. You can hear someone saying they're working on Saturday. That's Shep's mum, Mandy. Always here to watch his games. That's number 18, Page. Happy to see Bridgwater, despite the scoreline, are still prepared to run and have a go. Chris Tong there, big strong lad, he's again defended well all day, but Bridgwater have just run out of defenders so many times. Trouble looks to Tong again. Tom Steer, chance to clear. Lovely kick, made a good 30 metres with that. Up the slope against the wind. That's Jack Perry now playing hooker. And he finds the ever reliable George Sluman in the centre, who's done very well in the line out today, skipper. St Austell will eventually get them into touch. Carl Marriott comes up from the bottom of a maul. I'm guessing not for the first time in his career. Pass goes to Marriott. Even at this late stage, St Austell continue to play in the right areas of the field. There's George Sluman, one of the players who've emerged with real credit today. I think they'd like nothing more than to get some points on the board, Bridgwater, and Tom Steer has the chance to make some ground, looking this way. Jack Perry's moved from the back row into play hooker. Well, this is throwing in. And so far he's found George Sluman, I think, on 4 occasions. Short ball. Graham Lawrence couldn't hold on. Bridgwater do though. So they've been tackled by Carl Marriott. No, sorry, Anthony Knight, I beg your pardon. George Sluman kicks the ball, and you can hear from here his comment. Despite the scoreline, they are still attempting to run. That's probably the best period they've had in the second half, Bridgwater. 4, 5, 6 phases, kept the ball, kept it well, and then the kick just missed touch. So Miles Davey will throw. The clock says time's up. But the clock doesn't matter, the referee's the one that matters. There's Roger Travel on his little run. And Graham Lawrence
still want to have a go, don't they?
Yeah.
That's a lovely little kick. CJ Boyce just nudges it into touch. Will be a line out about 15 metres out from Austell's line. The best attacking opportunity that Bridgwater have had in this half. And as you can see, the wind now blowing right to left. It's changed. Certainly howling the other way in the first half. Sleeman just unable to get hold of it. And Hector Bright says, "I'll hoof it up in the air and chase it. I'll probably get there and tackle him anyway," which he surely does.
You sorted the phone out?
Yes. Bought another one.
Oh, it was a phone, wasn't it?
I bought one today.
Oh, right.
It's in the car now.
We got one out, but it's not phoning that load of wind. So this time we decided not to phone it.
Tackle by Ben Plummer, but the referee brings them back for offside. So there'll be a penalty on the St Austell 22. The referee looks at his watch. There can't be long left.
I don't know.
But Bridgwater desperately want to get on the board.
I don't know.
And Tom Steer slots a lovely little touchline kick. Take the ball right up to St Austell's 10-metre line. They will be desperate for a clean sheet, and Bridgwater will be very, very keen to go away with at least some points for their efforts. Referee once again checks his watch. This could be the last play. Stephen can't hold it, but Graham Lawrence gets very, very close. And right at the back of that, Roger Drabble picks up, but he's met. It's really the first time in this game that St Austell had to defend properly, and that's the closest they've been, Bridgwater have been to St Austell's line. Marriott to the fore. You can see Matt Shepherd thinks he's a flanker, and Hector Bright picks up. And you can see knocked on there by Taylor Buller, but St Austell win the ball back. And Sam Parsons will look for support. Backs inside to Danny Tyrrell. One final flourish perhaps. Step from Sam, finds Ben Plummer. No, holding on. And once again, Tom Steeg with the chance. So there's St Austell's try line. Scoreboard clock says time's up. Referee checks his watch twice. This could be the last play. I've said that before, but this could be the last play. We don't really know. Goes to Sleeman again. He's really been the go-to man in Bridgwater's line out today. As you can see,
We got the back.
Great defence, boys!
Watch out.
I think Shep's going to have a look. Yes, he is. He's gone, he's gone. He's a chase now.
Go on, Dan! Go on, Dan!
And Danny Tyrrell's chasing that. The referee's going to bring them back, I think. And he's got a penalty to Bridgwater. That's Rob Lowe, referee. I think it might have been against Shep, pushing the man over who was not obstructing him. Here's me saying could be the last play, we don't know.
Seems exactly what they wanted to do, get done in. Yeah.
A minute ago, the flag was blowing the other way. So Jack Perry to throw. Not taken cleanly, taken instead by CJ Boyce, who looks for the touch, as he knows the referee is about to blow the final whistle, despite their best efforts. Bridgwater unable to get on the board. So the final score here at Tregorrick Park is St Austell 83, Bridgwater and Albion 0.
Try and